I signed the papers that made us homeowners. 3 weeks after our divorce, my husband married my little sister and moved her straight into the house I was still paying off. They thought I'd just disappear. Instead, they woke up one morning in a home that didn't belong to them anymore. Not one bit. I'm Naomi Foster, and if you'd met me last year, you'd say I had it together. A steady job as a financial advisor at a commercial bank in Portland, a neat little house, and a marriage everyone thought was artsy and romantic. But sometimes, being steady just means you're good at carrying weights no one else will touch. And sometimes, you don't see the cracks until you trip over them. I met Alex when I was 28. He was wild, dreamy, talented in that tortured artist way. He could talk for hours about inspiration and beauty, but couldn't remember his credit score to save his life. He said I was the grounded one. "You're my anchor, Naomi." So, naturally, I anchored everything. I bought the groceries, paid the bills, signed for the mortgage, because his credit was, let's just say, more abstract than his paintings. I made excuses for him, for years, because I wanted to believe if I just did enough, if I just kept holding things together, he'd finally grow up and meet me halfway. Spoiler, he didn't. The house was my idea, my loan, my name. But I pretended it was ours. I picked every paint color, every tile, planted lavender on the porch because my mom loved it. I called it home. Alex called it his studio. Every evening, I'd come home to find him staring at a blank canvas, empty coffee cup nearby. But I held on to hope, even as the hope got heavier. And then there's Sienna. 7 years younger, my forever little sister. I raised her, honestly. After our parents split, she'd cry herself to sleep in my lap. When she started college, I paid her tuition. When her boyfriend dumped her at 27, she moved in with us. I taught her to cook, to look people in the eye. I told myself, no matter what, family comes first. She'd never betray me, right? Betray me. I wish I could say I saw it coming, but I didn't. Not really. Maybe it started the first time Alex stopped kissing me goodbye, or the first time Sienna stayed over because she just couldn't stand her empty apartment. At first, I welcomed it. Sisters are supposed to be there for each other. She brought apple tarts, claimed she missed the smell of our house. She fit right in. Too right, I guess. But slowly, I started feeling invisible in my own living room. Alex would light up when she walked in. They'd share TikToks, sit too close, laugh like teenagers. I'd come home and the two of them would just glance up and keep going, not telling me to leave, but not inviting me to stay. One night, I walked in early from work. Their voices drifted down the hall, hers light, his soft. Music played. Through a crack in the door, I saw them on the couch, Sienna tugging at his shirt collar, both whisper singing along to some pop song. No touching, just a look. But my heart, God, my heart knew. My brain said, "Don't be paranoid." My gut said, "Run." I made tea that night and whispered, "Everyone's happy in this house but me." Alex just smiled, all soft and patronizing. "Naomi, you're too sensitive. Sienna's your sister, you know that." "Right, my sister." A few days later, I saw Alex's phone buzz. The screen lit up. "S, are you asleep yet? She looked at us weird today." I just stared. Didn't open it. Didn't need to. Some truths don't need passwords. I tried to talk to Sienna, asked if she was okay, if she needed anything. She hugged me, quick, stiff. "I love you, sis. I'd never hurt you." Cold chills right then. People who say never are usually already doing it. Still, I told myself, just stress, just coincidence. But the crack was there now, growing every day. It all snapped on a quiet Tuesday. I came home early with fresh lavender to replace last summer's. The place was too quiet, the front window cracked open, Alex's studio door slightly ajar. I heard whispering, Sienna's voice. If she finds out, it's over. Alex's, low and steady. Then don't let her. That was it. I stood there so long I dropped the lavender and didn't even pick it up. That night, I turned away from Alex in bed. Didn't speak. Next morning, coffee slid across the table, like always. Naomi, are you okay? He asked softly. Are you sleeping with my sister? I said, calm, cold. He didn't even try to deny it. I'm sorry, I just don't feel connected to you anymore. That, right there, was the last straw. I gave up an MBA scholarship for him. I worked 2 jobs when he was broke. I bought him a house, and he brings my sister in like I never existed. And he wants to talk about connection? He just said, Naomi, you're always in control. No one feels free in this house. Oh, so apparently being responsible makes you the villain. Good to know. 3 days later, my mom called. Come by, Naomi. I thought maybe she'd want to check in, ask how I was holding up. Instead, she said, Sienna's young. She made a mistake. You're the big sister. Don't make this into a family scandal. Be the bigger person. Not one, are you okay? Not one, I'm sorry, just don't make a scene. Classic. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I just packed a bag, grabbed my old notebook, and left. Because sometimes, silence is louder than anything you could say. A week later, a letter came. Lavender scented. Sienna's handwriting. Could you schedule a time to pick up your things? We meditate in the mornings. Please respect the new energy. That's what betrayal looks like. One polite little letter. That night, I lay on my apartment floor. No music, no pillow. Just staring at the ceiling, replaying all the sacrifices. How many times did I choose them over myself? At 24, I let go of Chicago, let go of a real future, just to keep someone else's dreams alive. At 14, I promised Sienna I'd always take care of her. I guess I kept that promise too long. I didn't fall apart. I got up because there was no one left to catch me. 3 days later, I called Kelly, a friend from college, now a real estate attorney. We sat at a coffee shop, and I told her everything. Tell me what the law allows, I said. We flipped through mortgage papers, 3 years of statements. Kelly looked up. He's never paid a single cent. The deed's in your name only. I should have felt angry. Instead, I just felt clear. I carried that house alone, on paper and in life. What if I want to sell? I asked. She shrugged. You don't need anyone's permission. That's all I needed. I picked up Kelly's pen, and for the first time in my life, I signed something just for me. 10 days later, it was done. The house was gone. Sold to a young couple expecting their first baby. They wrote, "We hope to care for this home with our whole hearts." I didn't even hesitate. They deserved that house more than anyone. 3 days after the sale, Alex and Sienna got the legal notice. 30 days to move out. No letter, no drama, just a piece of paper heavy as a hammer. That night, Sienna texted, "You're cruel. How could you do this to your own sister?" Alex called too. Maybe I was wrong, but I always thought if anyone would forgive me, it'd be you. I laughed, quiet, bitter. Not everyone who loves you keeps forgiving you forever. I used to be that person, not anymore. I typed a reply to Sienna, deleted it. Finally, I wrote, "I'm not cruel. I just stopped sacrificing myself at the right time. She never wrote back. Kelly told me they struggled to find a new place. Bad credit, no savings. I didn't care. For the first time, I wasn't holding anyone up but myself. My new apartment is tiny, but every inch is mine. I planted lavender on the balcony, kept my old armchair and a blank journal. No memories I didn't choose, no one to tiptoe around, no one to explain myself to. A couple weeks in, I went to a women's seminar. The topic? Don't disappear in the numbers. They talked about wives too scared to have their own bank accounts, women who paid for everything but never claimed anything. I sat quietly, listening. At the end, I left an envelope, a check, with one line. For the women who believed they weren't allowed to keep anything for themselves. A few weeks later, Alex called again. "I'm staying at a motel. Can you help with the deposit?" he asked. "Sienna's gone." I looked out the window at the sun. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I just said, "I didn't take anything from you, Alex. I just gave you exactly what you gave me, nothing." Then I hung up. I wrote the last page in my journal that night, with an old pen Alex gave me years ago. I wrote, "Silence isn't surrender. It's just what happens when you finally don't need to scream to be heard." Next morning, I made myself tea. Sunlight poured in. I sat in my own home, in my own peace. "So, what would you have done?"